Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So a few days ago, I was messing around on Windows on Steam Deck here, and I was having some problems. I was trying to do some cleaning, as I do, clean up some files, but I'm not the most savvy when it comes to that, and I think I deleted some stuff that I shouldn't have. So that was preventing me from updating Windows, and it was also preventing me from going back to different restore points. So that was problematic. I tried a couple times, but everything kept failing. Tried formatting it completely, and that wasn't working either. So the only other choice was to wipe the SD card, go back into the Linux side of things, and redo Windows that way, which I didn't want to do. It was going to take hours, a couple days, but actually it worked. It worked great, and we're actually better than we were before. I did lose my game file, unfortunately, on my game save on Axolotl, aka Axolotl, which is a super cute game. You can get it just about anywhere for like 20 bucks, maybe 10 when it's on sale. But I got it free with Amazon Prime Gaming, so definitely check that out. It does have local co-op. And then I guess I lost some other minor game saves too, but that wasn't not a big deal. It did take several hours to re-download Fortnite, like yeah, many hours, because this poor little SD card is really put through its paces. However, the biggest takeaway was handheld companion, which is what I use the the Steam Deck to acknowledge the controls, for Windows rather, to acknowledge the Steam Deck controls as an actual controller, because it won't really do that by default, as far as I know, unless that's in a Windows update. Um, but it does that, and prior to now, I would have to manually click on Handheld Companion each time, like either right before or right after clicking on a game, for the controls to register. And that got to be a little bit tedious after a while, but it was better than nothing. I played through Gears of War 1 and 2 that way on the Zinnia emulator. But when I was firing it up yesterday, the nice thing about it is, I mean, you can have it start up automatically when you boot up into Windows, but I didn't like that because it would disable the trackpad and other controls that you want to use. Um, what do I want to say? Yeah, you can't use like the mouse click and stuff. So you lose controls, but you would also gain the physical controls. Basically, you wouldn't be able to manipulate the menu and click on stuff. But I would use a Bluetooth app on my phone to emulate like a mouse and a keyboard, and that was a workaround. But now, kind of best of both worlds, you don't have to. Something happened in Handheld Companion, and now it just all works together, so I can use the mouse click, and then I go into the game and the controls just work. So it's just a much more seamless experience, and it's wonderful. So if I would go into Fortnite right now, and it would just all work. And so really, I don't have to deal with this, really have to worry about it much at all anymore. Anyways, that might seem like a really minor thing, but it was actually kind of awesome that was so much better now for Handheld Companion just to work the way it really ideally should. One minor thing, if you guys know a way to disable the pin when you first have to log in, I would love to know how to do that, or disable a password, because it's one minor thing, but it's super annoying. I wish I could just power it on and just log right in without any kind of password, pin, or whatever. If you guys know how to do that, please let me know. Obviously, the Steam OS is still pretty much better, a more console-like experience than the Windows, but there's some things that you just can't do on there, like play Fortnite and access free games that you might get either through Epic. That's where this one actually came from. Axolotl was it's an Epic game, or if you have the Amazon games or the GOG Galaxy or some other stuff. You can't really do that. Hopefully in the future, maybe you can do that with Wine. I don't know. Please let me know in the comments if you know how to play other games natively on the SteamOS. I would much prefer that rather than bouncing between this and Windows. And lastly, I kind of want to go, sorry, back to the Linux side and partition it off, and maybe put Windows on half of the hard drive too, to see how that performs compared to the Windows on the SD card, because it definitely chugs. Yeah, it definitely chugs and it gets really warm. The screen gets really warm. The power brick gets really warm, really hot. The fans are really working really hard. So I wonder if that would be a better experience on the native internal hard drive. And if it is, if it's worth it, maybe I'll upgrade the internal storage. Obviously, I'd have to start completely from scratch again on that, but we're just talking about the future. So if you have any other comments or ideas on the Windows side of things with Steam Deck, please let me know. And always, thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you in the next one.